Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Level 1 podcast. We've got a good show today. First off, guess what's here? My Steam controller arrived yesterday. We did a live unboxing on the DSP morning show. We did a little bit of a demo playing Directive 8020, but admittedly, Directive 8020 isn't a control-intensive game. So what we're going to do today, live on this show, we're going to test the Steam controller with Windows. I'm going to show you how you can use this guy to navigate around browser windows, the Steam library, and more to see what kind of use you can get out of it outside of just playing games. So a live testing is in the works, and that's going to be fun. But in addition to that, we're going to talk about all yesterday's antics, including Directive 8020, which, honestly, the response and reaction that I got to, up from it was shocking. I didn't expect that. Okay, to be honest with you. And also, I want to get you caught up with my ongoing reaction to the Quartering documentary because we're in the home stretch, okay? We'll talk about the future. We'll talk about games. We'll talk about everything. All of this and more on today's fun edition, the midweek edition of the Level 1 podcast. Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, the 13th of May, 2026. I'm DSP, and this is the Level 1 Podcast, midweek edition. That's right, we're halfway through my streaming week, and that means it is time to look at what we have done and have some chill fun. I'm ready. Are you guys ready? Let's see who we got here today this morning, nice and early. On the YouTube side, who do we got? We got Valarauka, what a name, Bowser Jr., Copium, Dark Lady Goth, John Weismer, Lyra Vale, I was tongue-tied, Xanarkand Abe, Grandmaster Scrub, Game Dude, Copium, Alex from Phoenix, Muckman, Mercury Plays, Jaden, Trigger Cut, actually, Jay Plays Casual. On the kick side, we got Bernal Castro, Wall Run Enjoyer, The January Riots, Yao K Nerd, Mario Handcart, Toasty Chestnuts, the Kino Stormcloak, there you go. A generous anonymous supporter. Omega Trees, Eddie, I think I saw Eddie Chill. Eliza Pancakes, I see. Cody's here. Very good, a lot of people here. Dusty Shackleford. How y'all doing? Good morning, and welcome to the show and a midweek podcast. And I actually have a good amount of stuff to cover today. I'm excited. You know, we've been doing a lot of morning shows recently because there hasn't been tons of stuff to do on a full podcast. But today I feel like we have enough, particularly with this testing of the Steam controller today, which will be a fun live experiment. I think that we have more than enough to do. Although I must admit, it's pretty rainy. It's pretty wet and messy outside, which is, I guess, okay because yesterday we had 80-plus degree weather, which warmed everything up. But it's spring. And I guess you could say April showers, but it's May. I wanted the weather to solidify, and it hasn't here. It's been like all over the place. So it is what it is, but yeah, it's kind of a very rainy spring day here in Washington State. So, are you excited? I am. I'm ready to have a good time with all of you here today. We're going to chill. We're going to talk about yesterday's stuff first. We'll get that out of the way. Because honestly, I really don't know how to react to the Directive 8020 response I got yesterday. It certainly wasn't what I was expecting, right? And to put it into perspective, the Dark Pictures anthology games or any of these narrative-based games from Supermassive Games typically perform pretty decently on this channel. Now, listen, I understand that times have changed. It's 2026. It's not, 2015. So I get it. It's not going to be a universal truth that these kind of games would perform well. but I was downright shocked with how this game was responded to by the audience. Like, I have two completely different kinds of chat. One insanely rowdy, right, and full of energy and spunk. And the other way more kind of cool and collected, right? But both chats reacted, sadly, negatively to this game. And I never expected that because particularly it's the kind of game that I actually really enjoy. Like, no exaggeration, after yesterday's premiere stream, I would love to play the game again. I can't wait to play it again to see how the story goes. So we're going to talk about this today because it's just so weird. It seems like in the modern day, up is down, left is right. The good news is overall things are going great, but it is weird when you have something that previously has always done well with a certain crowd, and now it doesn't seem to be doing so anymore. All right. I also want to give you guys a update on what's going on with the React over on DSP Reacts because we're almost done with it. But I'm getting requests now after the success of this React because people have been saying they really like it. Would I do more? I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, reacting is not something that I do regularly. We know this. I'll react to a trailer for a game or something here on the podcast. Long form reacting, like what I'm doing right now over there, is not regular content that I would put out. It's actually, sparing that I do. I used to do a lot more of it, but I stopped doing it when people told me that it got boring or tired. The reason we're doing this one is because it's pertinent. It's something going on right now, and, it's interesting to see my reactions to this thing that I never knew anything about the quartering before, and now seeing this kind of unfolding firsthand in this documentary is an interesting topic. But the question is, would it be as interesting if I'm doing it more regularly? Or is this something that I should kind of pull out of the hat when it's pertinent and then say, all right, now put it back away for a while? You know what I mean? So we'll talk about that today, okay? And of course, I absolutely want to test out my Steam controller. It's finally here after all that wait, and it has some interesting features that I want to show you for navigation. Like, to get around your PC, essentially what this is even though you have two thumbsticks you absolutely can use, you can use the touchpads as if you had a keyboard and mouse, and it's kind of cool how you can kind of navigate around. Now, it's not necessarily, it might not be the best, but it's a cool thing if you don't want to use keyboard and mouse but still use a PC. It might be a cool way to do so. So we're going to look at that today, okay? And yeah, it is a beast. I know, it's a beast of a controller. You see how big it is? That's probably the biggest chunkiest controller I've ever used. So, good stuff. Let's get started. We have a super chat this morning from Oh No Not Him Again. $2 super chat, and he says, save your Master Ball for the roaming legendary. So yes, after today's podcast, we will be continuing on with Pokemon Fire Red. We are now officially into the post game, meaning we beat the Elite Four, we beat the Pokemon champion, we are the Pokemon champion now, and we are into the optional content that was added for the Fire Red version of original Pokemon. So I don't know what's coming up. People are saying it's the Sevi Islands, which is these 7 islands that you travel to and you can catch extra Pokemon, and there's challenges and things to do. I don't know anything about it. When I played Pokemon back in the day, it was just Pokemon Blue. So it didn't have any of this content that we're now exploring. So I'm definitely going to need you guys to help me out to understand what to do today. And if you're saying, I saved the Master Ball, obviously for good reason, thinking that probably the hardest stuff to catch in the game would not be in the standard game, but after. And so I'm glad that I saved it, and we'll talk about how to use it today. I don't know what roaming legendaries there actually are in the game. I guess we'll find out today, right? Okay. I got a $1.48 tip. What a weird amount. He said, trust me when I tell you, Directive will get way better. It's one of the best games from the anthology. You think people are too quick to write it off, and for what reasons? Potential game of the year, in my opinion, at least as a story game. I think, excuse me, I think that right now my audience is kind of unique, and here's why I say that. I feel like I have different audience groupings. So on one side of things, there's an audience that absolutely wants to see me play either difficult games or challenging multiplayer games. They want to see me try to overcome the odds, to beat people online, or to play a game that's like a ball crusher. You know what I mean? One of these really challenging games that man, we want to see Phil fail and fail and fail and then persevere and overcome. I do feel like that is one audience. On the flip side of that, I feel like I have another audience that just wants to relax with me, which is why playing a game like Pokemon, okay, has worked at length. And why, even though Pokemon actually didn't used to work so well in my rotation, it seems to work incredibly well now. You know what I mean? Like Pokemon ZA, and then it's DLC, and now Pokemon Fire Red, and we're still playing Pokemon, and no one is bored, and people are still showing up and supporting the streams. That obviously means something, you know? There's also a big desire to see me jump into new games. You know what I'm saying? Like to go into new games and check them out on Steam, and we haven't had a chance to do that. I do think that there's a crowd that want to see me play games that they really like, and I haven't had opportunity to be exposed to yet, you know, indie games and the like. If you think about everything I just mentioned, Directive 8020 is none of those things. Like literally none of them. Okay? If you think back to the times when these narrative-based games used to be very popular among my audience, what time was that? I want to think about it. It was before I was an interactive streamer. Okay? Arguably my biggest kind of narrative-based horror game playthrough was Until Dawn. That was 2015, before I became interactive with the audience. My old Telltale Games playthroughs, right? Those were way back when. So when I became interactive and it became about me constantly talking with you guys and hanging out and turning it into more of a chill session and a game session rather than, oh, it's, you know, Phil's just hyper-focused on that game and he's, you know, razzing the plot and he's making constant jokes, you know? That was a long time ago. So what's happened is I think my audience in the last decade has shifted more toward we want to see this different kind of content from Phil. We don't want to see content where he gets super immersed in the game and won't pay attention to us. Instead, we want to chill with him. So there you go. Now also, it's a horror game, right? And so when you play a horror game, a lot of people tune into a horror stream, I hate to say it, to see someone kind of overact playing a horror game. Like, there's a jump scare, so they freak out completely on stream, and then you have a laugh. You know, the days of the old school screamer streamers, I used to call them. You know, the Markipliers and the PewDiePies. I mean, yeah, it's been a long time removed since that thing was super prominent. But still, a lot of people tune into those kind of streams just for that. And as you know, I don't really react like that to horror games. Do I react? Of course I do. If there's a jump scare, I'll be like, and then I laugh at it. You know, like, haha, they got me. But I'm not, freaking out like a sissy. Because I'm not a sissy. So I don't react like that. And so that kind of takes away from some of it as well. So I think there's a lot of reasons. We'll talk about it in a minute. All right, because I want to talk about this. I want to figure out what to do with Directive 8020. Let's see here. I got a $2 tip. This person says, if you want to do react content, a new segment called Detracting the Detractors to respond to unhinged detractor videos and make fun of them. Well, first off, I want to say thank you for the suggestion, and I also want to say never say never. Let's put it that way. However, if there is one thing that I have learned over these years that I've been a creator, 18 years, and out of those 18 years, arguably 15 years, I've had these major detractors who are coming after me, okay? The best way to handle that level of obsession, harassment, misinformation, and defamation is very simple. You don't address it. Because all that those people want is your attention. If they get it, they feel like they've won. That was the whole point. Most people who are detractors on the internet, and I don't just mean my detractors, I mean anyone who detracts someone on the internet, probably well knows that most of the stuff that they say and do regarding someone is exaggerated. Not that it's not truthful, but usually it's a gross exaggeration. Okay? Yeah, sure. This person probably did this one thing, but it also doesn't mean that they're a horrible person, they're a waste of life, this and this and this, right? And people will take one little thing and extrapolate upon it and blow it up. So here's the thing. If you take everything that's said and you watch it and you react to it and you respond to it. You basically become like Review Tech USA, someone who just can't help themselves and literally falls down that rabbit hole again and 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 again. And it's an endless cycle. And all it does is fuel the fire so that those people will keep doing it. Okay? And so, the best way to handle it is to just say, well, I'm aware it exists, but I don't know the specifics. I don't care. And just move on with your day. Because it's like I've said, if you're successful, you don't need to focus on these things that are said about you because they don't matter. You know, in the last year, there has been a ridiculous amount of ire and negative things said about me on the internet. And how much have they affected me? Zero. They have had zero negative impact on me because I don't pay any attention to it. I don't care. Instead, I'm just here chilling with my audience every day, having a good time, living life, making positive content. And guess what? I'm doing good. My streams are doing well overall. Not every single stream, but overall, I'm doing well. Everything's good. The sky ain't falling. The bills are getting paid. I'm making good content that I love. We're branching out. We're doing new games. The set's upgraded. The equipment's upgraded. Look, I got my Steam controller right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're good. So, that's it. That's all I have to worry about. Now, I understand what you're saying. For me to react, to detract the detractors, correct? For me to do that, would that be funny? I think it might be for like a one-off thing. But the thing is, once you do that, you've given them what they want. They now have their time in the sun, and they can now say, ha-ha, now the endless cycle continues because now he's acknowledged us and he's watching our content. So now we can clip that and watch his reaction and react to his reaction and spin it in our toxic way. And it's just an endless content funnel. Does that make sense? To be honest, that's how it works on the internet for the drama farming YouTubers and the drama farming streamers. It's not just on YouTube, you know, other places as well, as you know. They want that endless cycle. They want you to bite. They want you to react. They want you to respond because then that just gives them more free content that they don't really have to work hard for. It just gives them the free content, right? And it gives them the attention. By not acknowledging it and not paying attention to it and just being yourself and moving on your merry way, it makes them basically talk to the void or their very isolated group of losers who watch them. It's just that simple. You know, you can't help the fact that there is a human problem, that there are people who are so miserable in life that all they want to do is laugh about the misfortunes of others or try to bring others down, even if it's not true, these things that are being said. They don't care. They just want to feel like they're better or superior to other people, or at least revel in the downfall of someone who looked like they were doing well. That's how miserable human existence has become. And there's nothing you could do about that, right? There's no actions that I could do to change that. I can acknowledge it, I can point a finger at it, and I can highlight it, but it doesn't mean that it's ever going to improve. Instead, what I can do is focus on the things that I can control and I can change, which is me and myself and my content. Okay, I can't change the world, but I can control what's right here on this stream. And that's the attitude that I take. So why am I going to go watch other people's content, okay, of toxic stuff? Why would I ever do that? What's the point? It's not like I'm going to convince those people that they're wrong. It's not like I'm going to entertain a positive audience by reacting to toxic, negative content about myself, all right? 2 years ago, a 4-hour documentary came out about me by June the King. I literally forced myself to sit here, watch it, react to every moment of it, and fess up to all the things that I had done wrong over the years. And when I finished that react, that was my redemption, at least for myself, meaning I kind of pledged to myself that all those things that I had done wrong up to that point, that I wasn't going to replicate, that I wasn't going to continue to make those same mistakes, but instead I was going to turn my life around and improve it. Now look at me 2 years later, right? I'm a transformed guy. I'm healthier. I'm happier. I'm sitting in a place of affluence, a place of success. I actually have a great life. Everything has dramatically improved for me since I manned up and I reacted to that toxic stuff about me. I don't care what anyone else says after that because I'm already done with it and I'm already past it. Every little nitpick, every little gripe that the internet has with me doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me. I'm good. So I'm moving forward in a positive way and I don't care what these idiots say. Now, I agree with this tipper. If I did a show where I maybe just reacted to some toxic stuff said about me, we could all have a good laugh at the memes and, but the problem is that would be like, oh, look, Phil gave attention. Now that opens the floodgates for idiots to say toxic things that aren't true. And so that's why I don't give it any kind of attention, and I'm not going to because I learned my lesson the hard way from all the years where I try to say, oh, this wasn't true or this, sweep it under the rug. Just don't pay any attention to it at all. I don't give a shit. There will always continue to be people making documentaries. There will always continue to be people trying to make a buck on my back. I don't care. Go ahead and do it. As long as I'm successful and happy, you go on your merry way, I'll go on mine. I don't need to pay attention to your lunacy and your idiocy and your grifting. I'm good. Okay. Let's see. Someone tipped $2. I'm trying to understand what they're saying. I'm going to try to read this. They said, is what happened with the quartering pretty much when you met, whenever you bring up why you don't go after detractor channels? It seems to cause more problems than it solves. You've grown up a lot. 2013 DSP would address detractors a lot. Pretty much it ended up promoting this is how you don't play. Yes. So it's like they say, first of all, it's the Streisand effect, right? If you don't want something to be talked about or highlighted or focused on, don't talk about it, mention it, highlight, or focus on it. If you try to hide it and you're purposefully trying to stop people from talking about it, it gets highlighted, it gets emphasized and extrapolated. I think the story is that Barbra Streisand in 2003 had a property she owned, but she didn't want anyone to really know about it. But some photographer had taken a picture of it and put it online. And so she basically sued the guy to try to take the pictures down. But then because of that, the pictures went everywhere viral and everyone knew she owned this property. I think that's the story, right? So why am I going to try to dispute everything someone says about me? Why am I even going to give it entertainment value or attention? There's no point. Just ignore it all, move on my way, and, don't create that Streisand effect. The other problem is it's also like the Hydra, right? You can cut off one head, and now the Hydra, instead of having 3 heads, has 2, except it just sprouts 2 more in place of the head you cut off. So for every person who you address and you try to dispute and disprove and strike down, there's going to be 2 more that sprout out because they realize you're giving them attention. You see? So the best way to go about it is to ignore it. I can wholeheartedly tell you this, okay? Wholeheartedly. This is truthful. I don't watch any of these documentaries on me. I don't watch any specials. I don't watch anyone doing we're going to talk shit about DSP today. Not once. Okay? Seriously, I don't care. I don't pay attention to any of it. How do I know about it? You come and tell me about it in the chat. That's the only way that I would ever know about any of that stuff. It's not worth my time. It's literally a waste of everyone's time for me to sit here and address the crap. So there you go. I got another $1 tip. Can the next react be the Demon Souls dupe scandal so you can debunk the mouth droolers in the room? I think you are deaf. Did you not hear everything I just said? There will always be someone invoking my name, making some kind of a special video essay, documentary, or toxic piece of content about me. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. Whether I duped playing Demon Souls 13 years ago or not does not affect 2026 DSP. It's a moot point. If I did, if I didn't, nobody should care. Anyone who does is retarded. So I don't care either. Doesn't affect me. Okay. Alrighty. So I would like to talk about yesterday and the content that I put out. I want to figure out what's going on here with Directive 8020. And then I would like to figure out what to do to proceed in the future. And then I want to do the Steam controller testing. Okay? So, here's the deal. Yesterday, Directive 8020 came out. Okay? Newest game from Supermassive Games. This is the same company who made Until Dawn, the entire Dark Pictures anthology of games, which is 4 games, plus The Quarry, plus there's another game that has something to do with like a crime investigation. I forgot what it was called. We played that one too at one point. Very short game. So they've done a whole bunch of these narrative-based horror games, okay? They range in various different levels of quality. I would argue the one I like the best is Until Dawn. Then probably after that was Little Hope. And then probably there's kind of the middle-of-the-road games that are good but not necessarily as good. Like House of Ashes, I think, ranks it around in there. The bottom of the barrel for me is The Quarry. I think The Quarry is the absolute worst game that they've ever made, okay? But they're all pretty good. And what's funny is, especially with these Dark Pictures games, it's an anthology. So a lot of these games have the same actors, the same character model, voice actors, and everything. They're the same people, which is kind of neat to see that in the game. And so, in regards to these games, the new one came out yesterday, Directive 8020. This one appears to be the grandest scale that they've ever gone and developed a game. And what I mean by that is, it's 8 chapters long. Each chapter is a minimum of an hour long, if not longer. Okay? But of course, it depends on your choices, because if you end up getting people killed, then obviously the chapters are going to be shorter, right? The graphics, the amount of content seems to be the best they've ever done. You know what I mean? They're on a space station or a spaceship, and you're all these different areas you can wander around. There's all kinds of different things going on in these different areas, different kinds of gameplay. So far, there's been a lot of sneaking, like horror sneaking gameplay, which honestly is different for them, because usually it's just a narrative-based adventure. In this case, yes, that's the case. There's a lot of narrative, but there's also this sneaking around and not getting detected. So it actually is a lot of stealth, okay? So it seems like it's going to be their biggest, longest, most interesting game that they've ever made. All right? I played it for 3 hours yesterday. We got through the entire first 2 chapters and basically around halfway through the 3rd chapter. Based on that pacing, I would estimate the game would probably take between 8 to 12 hours to beat a first run. However, I already made choices that led to the death of a character. And when I say I made choices instead of, oh, I screwed up and goofed, that's because that's the case. The game actually has these kind of traps that it leads you into, that there's really no way to avoid it. So, for example, in order to reboot the spaceship, you have to make a critical decision. Do you want to disable the fire system, or do you want to disable the landing system for the ship? Well, wait a minute. If you disable the fire suppression system, you know that a fire is going to break out and someone's going to die, right? If you disable the landing system, well, you know at some point you're going to have to land the ship, and it's not going to be able to do it automatically or safely, and someone's going to die. You know what I mean? So you have to make what's the lesser of two evils? You have no clue. You just guess. So I guessed the landing system, okay? Later on, meaning like an hour and a half later in the game, guess what? You're crash landing. Wow, what a surprise. I never would have guessed that would have happened in a horror game like this, right? So there's an opportunity where it says, oh, one person can actually enable a system to land safely. Do you want to try to do that and risk it all, or do you just want to stay seated? I'll risk it all. Let's try to save everyone. So they get up and it says, oh, well, by the way, this doesn't even work because you disabled it earlier in the game. So there's no chance that it could be activated. And then that person died. And I'm like, wait, what? If it's already deactivated and there's zero chance you could use it, why give the option to try to enable it? That doesn't even make sense. So that means that if I hadn't disabled it earlier in the game, there would have been an option to enable it, even though I never disabled it. And then you would have had the option to do it. And if you succeeded, then it would have been fine. I don't even know. I don't even understand. But it feels like the game sets you up to fail unless you've done multiple playthroughs. Then you'll understand how all of it's kind of like a machine that's running on all of these cogs and wheels and things and systems that are working together. but you don't really get the big picture until you failed. Then you're like, oh, okay, now I understand that. So now if I did a second run, I could fix it. And this game actually does have a system by which you earn points and rewind tokens and things. So if you make a mistake, you can instantly go back and fix it, but it's limited. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play it like the previous games, where basically your choice is stick, that's your first run. And then after we finish a first run, we see who actually survives or dies. And then we can determine, hey, do we do a second run where now we try to make the alternate choice and keep people alive or whatever? That's what I want to do. So I think it's going to be interesting, but at the same time, yeah, there's going to be mistakes made and people are going to die, okay? So far, 3 hours in, we're not even sure what's going on yet. There is ongoing mystery. One of the crew members acting very weird. We found a crew member dead, and we think that it was the other crew member that killed them, but they never actively actually showed that on screen, so you're not sure of it. But they're definitely leaning toward that. So I like the game. I like this kind of interactive, narrative-based, movie-like game. It's like being in a sci-fi horror movie, which I enjoy. I liked it. If this were a movie, I would literally watch the movie. I would, because I like this kind of movie. So here's the thing. I liked it. I was having a great time with it. I was joking about it. I was enjoying it just like I've enjoyed these games up to now, okay? Attendance was actually quite good yesterday. On YouTube side, we had almost 300 viewers, and on the Kick side, we had just under 100. So that's pretty good. We're 400 plus viewers for a game. It's, not bad at all. I was pleased with that attendance, okay? But now what I want to talk about is the engagement and the support, because this is really where I started to scratch my head. Okay. Someone tipped $2. I will address this after because I'm talking about this game right now. They're going back to the whole documentary thing. We'll talk about that after. Let's keep on this subject for now. Thanks for the $2. I'll call it out and answer you later. So attendance was good. Engagement. Let's talk about this. On the YouTube side, even though we had so many people on the stream, almost no one was talking. Normally, for a hot new game like this, I'd have people tagging me in the chat. We'd be having conversation. We'd be joking about the game. We'd be having a good time. For some bizarre reason, the chat was like dead and not moving. And I'm like, I don't know if that means people are just really engaged in the story, or maybe they're using the stream as kind of a background stream because it's not really gameplay heavy. I don't know what's going on. But it was weird because, again, engagement is very, very critical to the success of a playthrough. I need people to be paying attention and caring about what I'm doing on stream, or else why am I streaming it, right? And I noticed that basically the engagement was very low on the YouTube side, okay? On the Kick side, the engagement was very high, but it was for bad reasons. But basically on the Kick side, everyone decided, oh, we don't like narrative-based games anymore, so we're just going to keep doing the thumbs down Patrick from SpongeBob emote. Now, here's the thing. I get it. It's funny. It's a meme. Let's all meme together, right? You want to do that for a little bit? Fine. But I'm not exaggerating when I tell you I ignored it, and they did it for over an hour straight. And it was almost every single person in the Kick chat was doing it. It got to the point where there were actually a few people who legit wanted to talk about the game, and their chats were flooded off the screen, and they couldn't contribute because these people were flooding the chat with spam. That's just not allowed. Sorry. It's my place of business, not yours. It's my, place of work where I want people to be able to have intelligent discussion about what I'm actually streaming. You can't just spam like that nonstop. Now, I was very lenient. I let this go on for over an hour and basically didn't say anything about it, okay? Over an hour, I said, all right, now I have to do something about it. And I said, guys, please stop. If you continue to do it, I'm going to time you out. People kept doing it. So I ended up timing out something like 20 accounts, okay? I am happy to say that after I timed out 20 accounts, they basically stopped doing it, except for maybe 5. And the 5 people who kept doing it, I didn't recognize. It wasn't like these were regulars. They were just assholes. So I then banned them because they basically double whammy. You got to learn your lesson. And after that, it stopped. But it was disheartening to see, on the one side, the people who usually engage in a positive way and have a good time were literally quiet, dead quiet. On the other side, the people who are rowdy and will, be excited were basically just sitting there and complaining. Oh, we don't like this game. Let's spam emotes. So on both sides, basically, there wasn't satisfactory engagement. People just seemed to be upset overall about the game. And I'm like, wow, this is such a weird disconnect because I'm having a good time. Okay. But the chat is not. And that's weird. So where's the disconnect? Because people knew what kind of game this was. I've played many Supermassive games before. You've seen the formula for these games. You know, it's survival horror with choices and a little bit of, sneaking and other content. You know what I'm saying? So what can I say? Now, the other thing is, the whole idea behind a game like this is that you play the game, right? And as you're playing it, you make choices. And if you fail, you're like, okay, remember the choices you made because you can do a second run where you can fix them later. Well, if no one likes the first run, obviously I'm not going to do a second. What's the point? But that sucks because that's kind of the fun of this kind of game is being able to go back and see how different choices lead to different outcomes and who lives and who dies. But if everyone's tired and bored with this game, then I can't do that. So it kind of was this like double disappointment because the live audience wasn't liking it. And at the same time, this is going to take away from my overall enjoyment because I know I'm not going to get to try to do alternate choices later because no one cares about this game. So yeah, pretty disheartening. And then on top of all of that, okay, we got to talk about support because it is an important part of the equation. Just on the DSP morning show, okay, I had accumulated something like 30 plus bucks of support. And we started the game, and I'm not kidding, from the morning show to the end of the stream, which was, about 3+ hours of gameplay. The end of the stream, I was at $67 of support. So I streamed from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., and I made $67. Now, at the very tail end of the stream, there was an auto resub that counted, and then it was actually Frank's Gym did a $30 tip, but the notification didn't come through until I was already offline. So actually, I made over $100 on that premiere stream, but you couldn't really tell because it all kind of happened after when the stream was going offline. The auto resub didn't happen on stream, and the tip didn't get called out on stream. Okay? Now, even if all that had happened during the stream, still, that's not a great premiere for a brand new game. You know what I'm saying? Especially when $30 of support came in during the morning show. It's very odd. I'm not sure what happened there. Like I said, I have played these games before and they have resonated with the audience and people have liked them and people have supported them and people have engaged with them in a positive way. So it makes me scratch my head, what the heck just went wrong? But to be honest, I don't actually think something went wrong. I just think that the times are changing, Back in the day, when I played Telltale narrative games, I wasn't an interactive streamer. So if I just focused on the game and was constantly commentating on what was going on in the game with irreverent commentary and jokes, people found it hilarious. Well, I don't do that constantly anymore. I just kind of play the game and react naturally to it, and I talk with the audience, right? So because of that, it doesn't have that appeal like it used to, all right? Even until Dawn 2015, I live streamed it. I had face cam, but it was really just me in the game. All right. As I've become more and more of an interactive streamer, those days of me focusing on the game entirely and being immersed in the plot and stuff like that have kind of gone away. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's a big factor of it, to be honest with you. Okay. I think a lot of people who come by today, they're, like I've already said, they're looking for a certain type of gameplay. Either the super challenging game where I get crushed a bunch, but then I overcome. Or interactive with the audience constantly talking with you, chilling and learning from you guys about how to play the game. Like when I play Pokemon, I'm asking you, what Pokemon should I use here? What are the weaknesses? What's the best way to go about it? Who am I looking for? Is there a wild Pokemon to catch here? All that's crazy fun interaction for the live audience. And that just isn't going to be possible, really, in a game that's all narrative-driven and I need to focus on the narrative, right? So I think that is an aspect that's kind of lost when I'm playing a game like this. And so, looking at all this stuff and all things considered, right? The truth is, I bought the game. I like the game. I want to continue with the game. Okay? And I hope that for those of you who like narrative-based games, you will join me for this game But it just seems like if I'm going to continue with it, it's going to be the Dragon Quest VII all over again. I'm playing it because I like it. There will be a smaller audience who also enjoys it, but it's not going to be the main audience. And it's going to be, people always crapping on it and being toxic about it. And there's not much I can do about that. Okay? I'm being honest with you guys. I don't know how to make it better. I like it. I was having a good time with it. People who like narrative-based games were also liking it. But it doesn't seem like that's just a big part of my audience anymore. It seems like that ended a while ago. Okay? So I'm going to continue with this game. It's going to be tomorrow's daytime stream. We're going to give it a second shot. I would hope that some positivity would come out of it, and it's not going to be a completely bored, disconnected audience and another rowdy, trolling audience. And I'm going to say this up front. If Directive 8020 is not your kind of game, and you don't like it, don't come to the stream just to complain. I'm not going to allow my chat to be completely overrun with people who just want to cause chaos, because there's going to be people who want to be positive, and they can't be if you're acting like an asshole. So I'm forewarning the Kick Chat right now. Tomorrow when I play Directive 8020, if you start spamming, you're going to get the rules enforced upon you. You have to abide by the rules just like everybody else. Even if you don't necessarily have malicious intent, you're just trying to be chaotic, because I get it. There's people who like to be chaotic, right? You're like, well, I don't like the game. Everyone just spam. Let's go. I let it go for over an hour yesterday. To be fair, I don't think anyone's going to say Phil wasn't fair there. I literally let it roll for over an hour before I even said anything. And it was only because there were a couple people there who were really acting a fool and would not allow people to be nice in the chat to talk about the game. And that was very disappointing, okay? So I'm just forewarning you all. Tomorrow, I'm playing this game. I don't know if I'll have a big or a small audience for it. I don't know if I'll have people to come by to support it or not. And I don't know if people will be engaged. But I'm giving it a second try, okay? I need people to not act a fool. I'm forewarning. I will even say this tomorrow before we begin when we're starting with the game. Don't do it. You're playing with fire. I need people to actually be able to use my chat because it is my place of business. Do you understand? I hope you do. I don't mind you. Like right now, there's people doing the thumbs down emo. I don't care. I don't care. But you have to let positive people also talk. Okay? Does that make sense? Can we do it as a balance? And then we can agree this is how it should go. Again, I keep the Kick Chat open for a good reason. I get it. I want you guys to have a place to be irreverent and to be silly and to razz me and make fun of me and meme about me. That's what it's about. That's cool. Keep it open. But at least let people talk as well. Does that make sense? Now, there is one other point that I should address. Some people have said, well, why aren't you playing this game at night? Okay? Well, there's two reasons. Number one, because if I play it at night, only 2-hour increments, we'll never get through it. Like, we'll never finish this. It'll be 2-3 weeks before we finish the first run. And I'm just tired of having games that should be done quickly, taking months to finish. They don't work that way. Does that make sense? Like, we need to finish this game within a week or two tops, or else it's going to be dragged out, and even people who like it aren't going to care anymore. That's the style of game it is. It needs to be played at a more rapid pace. That's why I played 3 hours yesterday. I'm going to play 3 hours tomorrow. That's why I'm probably going to be playing it early next week, another 3 hours. I want to get through it as fast as possible. If I do it as night streams, it'll be drawn out way too fucking long. That's number one. Number two, it's not like it used to be where my lighting sucked. Like, literally at any moment, as you can see, my lighting looks exactly the same. When I play a game, it looks like this. Can you tell if it's daytime or nighttime right now in my studio? Excuse me for 1 second. Come on, Frog! Let's go, Frog! It's time for a Frog flex here on the Level 1 podcast, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I worked out last night. My arms are pumped. Oh, look at that frog! Ah, love it. Gotta do it. Okay, anyway. So the point I was making is, as you can see, when I'm on this screen playing games, you can't tell if it's day or night. You have no clue what time of day it is, right? And the truth is, I have an international audience. Those of you who are watching me right now may be in my time zone. Many of you are way ahead of me, right? So, in this regard, guess what? Doesn't matter when I stream the game. It's never going to look like night anyway because my setup always looks the same. Your point of, oh, play it at night. Because it's darker, it's creepier, the lights are off. Yeah, my old studio setup where it didn't look good. I was dependent on the light coming through the windows and it would affect everything. Yeah, that was a good point. Some days it would look bright as shit in here when I'm trying to play a horror game. But it's not like that anymore. All right, so that really, the time I'm playing it doesn't affect it. I have to play it as longer streams, because if I don't play longer streams, sadly, I'll never finish the game, and I want to finish it sooner rather than later. So there you go. Okay, we got a bunch of shout-outs to do. Let's get to these shout-outs. So by the way, for the record, tomorrow, we will continue with Directive 8020. It will be the daytime stream. So please, if you like narrative-based games, show up for it, engage and support it. I mean it. I need people to please show up and support this game. I want to play it. I want to keep going. But yesterday was pretty bad. I can't have it be another Dragon Quest VII situation where I like the game and no one wants to show up for it. I know there's an audience for it. I just don't know what happened yesterday. Okay. So Princess Luna did a $10 super chat and said, I'm sorry to hear this, King. I was not able to make it to the stream yesterday. It's all good. Not everyone has to be at every stream. And you are a longtime viewer, supporter. I appreciate that. And I know that you probably would have supported yesterday if you were here. I was more disappointed with the people that were here. Because like I said, the attendance was high. But it was the engagement that was incredibly low and the support that was low. And that's what kind of, threw me for a loop. Mad TV, how you doing? He sent 4 kicks my way. Thanks for the kicks, Mad. And then we Snaw did a $2 super chat and says, you tell him, Phil. Well, you thank you, We Snaw, for the contribution. And also, thank you for the flex. I always love the flex. So thank you for that. El Ganzandere, if you keep saying that in the YouTube chat, I'm going to ban you. That guy was being insanely toxic and insulting in the chat, which is why he's now gone and he ain't coming back. So just cut it out. Stepdad, thank you for 100 kicks. Our first kicks of the day. What's funny is that firework animation, I set that up in January for New Year's, okay? And that was when I thought we were going to automate the kicks, and then they never worked. So I just left it, and now here we are in May, and the kicks finally work for automation for the pop-ups, and I'm like, that animation's fine, right? That animation's good. It works universally. You don't need to do that just for New Year's, so I'm just going to leave it. Okay, so we got a $2 tip here, and this person was talking about something different, which is why I wanted to wait to talk about it. He says, so you effectively drew a line in the sand between past DSP and DSP now after the June documentary? Yes. I said, I'm going to make an active effort to basically change my life, turn it around, stop doing the things that I was doing wrong. I'm going to try to improve for the better. I'm going to listen to constructive feedback. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to improve myself and my setup and everything because I want to move forward positively. I had enough of being stuck because I felt like many years there I was just stuck. And there are many reasons why that was. But I felt like then I finally had a unique opportunity to leave all that shit behind me and just move forward, which I have done for about 2 years now, and things couldn't have been better, to be honest with you. Okay. Oh, let's see here. I got a $2 tip. I like the style you had of commentating over what's happening. That's where your unique niche is as an entertainer, and you shined at it. You might be a bit too passive to make comments nowadays and hold your tongue too much. I mean, it's not just that. That's just life. Things change. You understand, right? Like back in the day, I was always trying to fill every moment that was going on in a game with some kind of irreverent commentary. And that ended up leading us to things such as the sexualized content that I would say, the generalized racial commentary that I would use. And the thing is, again, back in the day, can we be honest? Back in the day, everything was different, okay? Back in the day, all kinds of commentary was allowed. No one was offended. The world has changed. All of these platforms no longer allow that style of completely irreverent commentary, okay? Along with that, I've grown up a lot. I started being a YouTuber, I believe I was like 26 or 27 years old. I'm 44 now. You understand? Like, I'm almost 20 years into this game. And a lot changes in 20 years, okay? I'm not the same guy I used to be. My mind isn't even wired like that anymore. I don't think that way. I don't talk that way. I don't act that way. So although you might like DSP from 15 plus years ago, that was 15 years ago. And everything changes in that amount of time, to be quite honest with you. If I were the same guy today that I were 15 years ago, I would have failed. I'm going to say that again as strongly as I can. If I were the same guy today in 2026 that I were back in like 2012, 2013, I would have failed. All right? I wouldn't have an audience. That I would have become ultimately an completely, what's the word I'm looking for? Someone who's just not, I would have become a completely irrelevant, outdated, basically embarrassing creator. Because to see a 44-year-old guy sit around talking like he's 20, swearing, talking about boobs and dicks, and making fun of Asians, making fun of black people, making fun of Italians, making fun of all this shit constantly, right? It wouldn't have worked. That is the behavior of a younger person for a younger audience. My audience has aged with me. And newcomers who jump on are usually older viewers. My demographics outright tell me that most of my viewers are either in their mid to late 20s, 30s, or 40s. Teenagers are like 0.01% of my audience. They're not watching me. They're watching the big prominent streamers out there. They don't care about DSP. So I'm not going to make content for them because they're going to be like, why is Grandpa Phil talking like he thinks he's 20? They'd be right. I had to evolve with the times. I had to change with the times and understand that that's not who I want to be. Okay? Now, if I were acting like that, I likely could find some success. I wouldn't be able to do it on YouTube, and I wouldn't be able to do it on Twitch. I'd probably have to be a Kick exclusive or a Rumble exclusive streamer because they allow you to be more over the top with your commentary. YouTube and Twitch does not. Okay? However, where is my audience? Primarily, YouTube. It always has been. It probably always will be unless YouTube goes out of business, which I don't foresee happening. That's where my audience is going to be. So I got to adapt. And that's exactly what I've done. All right, I have. I've changed for the better. And I have no desire to go back. Like I said, I've grown as a person. I don't think that way anymore. It was exhausting trying to fill every moment of dead air with this kind of commentary that was just so immature and stupid in my opinion. I get that people liked it. I do. But that's a younger audience that I don't really care about anymore. That's not who I'm trying to make content for. All right? Just being honest. So there you go. Yeah, I'm not going to go back to that. It's never going to work. It wouldn't. If all of a sudden I just started acting like old DSP again, it would last 2 days. The first day, everyone would be like, whoa, Phil's acting like his old self. And then the second day, people would be like, oh, he's acting like his old self. That's pathetic. Let's all make fun of him. And that would be the end. I'd be completely irrelevant and be out of business in 2 days. I'm not even kidding. By day 3, I would have no one watching me. Princess Luna did a $5 super chat. Says, it blows my mind people on the internet think someone can't make positive changes to their life. Well, again, Princess Luna, I'm in a unique situation here. It's not that people don't think that people can make positive changes in their life. It's that they don't want to believe that I have. Because again, they benefit by thinking and saying I'm miserable. They benefit when they say that Phil is hard up and in a bad way, because then they can make toxic content about it and their community laughs and thrives at it. But it's not the truth. They can sit there and lie to themselves as much as they want and cope about it and seethe about it, that I'm doing well and I'm successful and I've changed for the better, but they can't accept it, because if they accept it, then it means that everything they're saying is wrong and their content is worthless, which it is, but that community can't face reality. In 2 years, I completely turned everything around and everything is good now. Like, no lie, I feel so good. You know, I work out and I go to sleep tired. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, ooh, I got pump. I feel good. I'm healthy. I feel like I'm 20 again. This is amazing. I jump out of bed. I have my nice breakfast. I jump on stream. I'm excited for the day. I'm like, let's go. Let's enjoy. Let's chill. Let's do good content together today. And we play games and we chill and we have fun. We get in a minute we're going to check out the Steam controller, right? We're going to experiment with it. This is fun stuff. This is good stuff. And it's not harmful. It's meaningful stuff. I love it. And that's my future. Because I ditched all the toxic shit of the past. I shed it off. And I've moved forward as a positive, different person. Changed. But they can't accept it. They totally can't. Here we go. See, you always notice that once we start talking about reality, they always show up in chat to spam it and say toxic stuff because that's their coping and seething mechanism. They can't handle reality. Wait, no, he's talking about his good life again. Shit, we can't have that because now my fractured reality starts to crack, right? And oh no, now I have to look in the mirror and look at my ugly self again and who I've become, hating a guy on the internet. They can't take that shit. They can't. Anyway, so thank you for the $2. I appreciate that. Let's I think we're gonna move on. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the Steam controller testing. What do you think? Okay, let's do it. Let me show you how Steam controller works. All right, so first off, this is the Steam controller, fully charged now. Okay. And unlike other controllers, it charges itself with a puck. That's what they're calling it. It's a magnetic puck that just snaps right onto the back of it. You don't have to actually plug the cable in. You could just snap the puck magnetically onto the back, and it allows it to charge nicely, quickly. But it was funny because it showed up new yesterday. I charged it for about 20 minutes, and then I was able to use it for the entirety of the Directive 8020 stream. So either it has a really great initial charge or the thing charges pretty fast. Either one could be possible. Okay. So turn the sucker on. Has a nice vibration function. I'll say that. Like my other controller that I've been using didn't really have vibration. This one has a nice smooth vibration function. And I can tell you initially when I was playing Directive 8020 yesterday that it controlled nice and smoothly. Okay. Reaction time was great. Initially, just using the controller as a standard controller, it does feel comfortable in the hands. Albeit, it's a little chunky. It is, let's be honest here. It's a chunky boy. Most controllers these days don't have this sucker here, so it's more ergonomic. It is still kind of ergonomic. All right, I'm not going to say, oh, it's uncomfortable. It's a little bit heavier than some of the controllers out there. Like, this controller actually is heavier than both this controller that I'm currently using for the Switch 2. And also, it's heavier than the Razer Wolverine controller for PC, okay? But, I mean, it's got, you know, this rumble in it. It's got the gyroscope in it. It's got touchpads. It's got a lot of technology in it. I'm not shocked that it's a little bit heavier than other controllers. The grip. It is a textured grip, which you couldn't tell when they were advertising it. It looked like it was that smooth matte finish. It's not. It actually has a micro texture. Now, it's probably impossible to show this to you on camera. All right? When you look at that, you'll probably think, oh, that's smooth. It actually isn't smooth, okay? But there's no way to really show this on camera. This is all textured. There's a very small dots, but it does have a grip feel to it. And actually, the front is contoured. As you can see, there's like this contour right here and right here. So as you hold it, it feels natural in your hand. So I do like how it's feeling so far. Now, I haven't really played it in a game yet besides Directive 8020. We'll know tonight when I play Mouse PI for Hire. And then later this week, I'm actually going to try it with retro fighting games. Then I'm really going to be able to tell you how it's controlling in games. But for the feel, just the way it feels in your hand, it does feel comfortable. Okay? The buttons. This may be one of the things that is a negative. The buttons on the face are very close together. And that's the closest configuration I've seen in any modern controller. I've only seen buttons that close together with like mini versions of controllers that they sell. And this isn't supposed to be a mini controller, yet the buttons are crushed in there. It could prove to have some issues when you're playing certain games and you need to do fast reactions. You may kind of, you know, thumb it and hit multiple buttons by accident because the buttons are so small and close together. Particularly, I have fat thumbs. So look at this. My thumb completely covers all 4 buttons. That could be a problem, okay? the D-pad. I'm curious how this D-pad is going to perform because as you can see, it is that smooth style D-pad. And I've played those before and sometimes they're good and sometimes not so good. So again, when I try playing fighting games later this week, I'll be able to tell you how the D-pad really functions, if it's good enough for stuff like that or not. I will tell you my one major criticism so far, the triggers are the same smooth style as the face buttons, and I don't like that. Like the other controllers that I'm using, okay, they all have a texture to the trigger. See this? It actually has a little bit of a texture to it. It's not shiny, but it's kind of like textured on there. Same thing here with the Razor Wolverine. All of the triggers these days have this texture to them when you're using them. For some reason, they didn't opt for that with the Steam controller, but instead it's really shiny and smooth, so your finger tends to slide around the trigger. I do wish that they put some kind of a texture on there to kind of hold it in place, because the rest of the controller is textured. So why, if you textured everything else on your controller, didn't you texture the triggers where your fingers are going to be resting all the time? I don't know. I actually do feel like this is kind of an oversight, okay? So, yeah, I'm not sure why they did that, okay? Just being honest. What I like to do is do a test of how to use this controller to navigate PC, because I think it's neat that you can do that. So what I'd like to do is test both, say, navigating around a YouTube channel, but also navigating Steam. So let's do that right now. And let's jump over. This is my DSP Reacts channel. No gratuitous plug here or anything for my recent React content that I'd like you to check out or anything like that. So, there's two ways to maneuver around the page. You can either use the left thumbstick, which as you can see, basically nudges the page up and down. Okay. Fair enough. In this case, the right thumbstick becomes the cursor, okay? So it's like having kind of mouse and keyboard. You're using arrows up and down to nudge the page up and down, and then you're using this to kind of thoroughly move around. You click things by using right trigger. So I can actually go over here and select the bar and drag it down using the right thumbstick and the right trigger, okay? Left trigger is basically right click on the mouse. And so you can select all of your menu options there that you would want to do by right-clicking by using left trigger, okay? And you can close that by pressing B. The B button is like a back button or cancel out button, okay? So that's the standard functionality. You navigate pages, right? You can click around here and do things and use right trigger to select. If you need to type any text in anywhere, you press the X button and it opens up a keyboard. You can then use your thumbs to control the touch pads and to type. As you can see, left thumb is a left selector and right thumb is a right selector. And to type, you just click. So I just typed the letter K, okay? But I also accidentally played this video, so I'm going to go ahead and pause it. I didn't mean to do that, okay? So as much as you can just nudge up and down with the left thumbstick, okay? See, what's happened now is we selected the video. So now it's actually messing with the video. I'm going to click out of the video. So hopefully, there we go. I clicked out of the video. Now we can move up and down the page again. See that? I think that better than that is to use the touchpads. So if you use your left, thumb and you just go up and down on the touchpad, as you'll see, look, we can scroll down the page simply by just kind of brushing down. Now, what a lot of people didn't know is that there is unique force feedback in the Steam controller. As I'm pressing up or down, the controller is actually vibrating. And it's a very unique feeling. It doesn't feel like any force feedback that I've ever felt before on a controller. It's just like a very small vibration, okay? I don't really know how they're doing it. It might have like a completely unique motor in there, because it doesn't feel like a standard motor that they put into controllers these days. It may be some new proprietary technology they have in this thing, because it's a very light vibration when I'm doing this, okay? So there you go. You can move up and down pretty seamlessly. The only thing I would say is if you want to move up and down fast and go between them, sometimes it kind of gets stuck and won't go the other direction right away. I've noticed that. But sometimes it works fine. So it might only be certain situations that happens. But for the most part, you can go up and down easily, no problem. All right? Now, oh, see, it just happened there. I just pushed up and it went down. So it happens every once in a while. I'm not sure why. Okay? Right thumb or touchpad is the cursor. So much like using the right thumbstick to move it all around, you could just move your thumb over that right touchpad and it moves that cursor all around. Okay? It is pretty accurate, but I will say this. It's a little weird because much like when you touch the left pad and you get that vibration, you get vibration every single time that you're moving. So it's like right now on my thumb, that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling as I move my thumb around. It's almost like it's a massage on your thumb. It's kind of weird. And I'm actually wondering, will that bother certain people and will they want to disable it? Because if it's just constantly massaging your thumb, some people will be like, ooh, you know, or maybe some people, their thumbs will become numb, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't really bother me, but it is unique and a little weird, I'll be honest, okay? So how would you navigate? So what you would do, okay, I'm on DSP Reacts, right? Okay, I want to watch this video. So you just go, you use your right thumb, you move over to the play arrow, you push it in like a button, and now you're playing the video. You push it in again, and you've paused the video. So it does kind of depress a little bit like a button, if that makes sense. These touchpads are incredibly unique. I've never felt touchpads like these before in my life. It doesn't feel like the screen on my phone. It doesn't feel like the touchpad on the PlayStation 5 controller. It just feels like something unique that they've created for this controller, which is kind of neat. Okay? So moving around the page, I'm going to scroll down and let's say, oh, okay. Let's see what Phil's been up to in his, here's a suggestion. So I'm going to move over to the arrow. I'm going to click in with my thumb, and that's going to move the list to the right. It's suggesting different videos from Phil's channel for me. See that? Navigates pretty well. Okay. Scrolling up and down. Now, what about if you want to leave this page and do something else? Just get the cursor wherever you want. Oh, I want to go check out DSPGaming on this other tab. There it is. What if you want to leave? Well, you got to scroll down to your bar, your taskbar, obviously. And anything else you have open, you could do. So I have Steam open, so I could just go ahead and push in. Now, now here is something important. When you use the push to select feature, it doesn't necessarily work the same as clicking. It's as if you're clicking and holding almost. So in this case, because I want to swap over from my Chrome browser tab to Steam, you actually have to use the right trigger. Pushing this won't work in that situation. You have to use the right trigger. Okay? Now, we're in Steam. Well, let's go ahead and navigate, right? We go up and down again with the left touchpad. Easily maneuvers around the menus there. You use your right touchpad to move the cursor around. We can go right to my library, use the trigger. Here's my games library. What am I going to play later today? I'm going to play Mouse PI for Hire right here. There we go. And we're ready to play. Just like that. Okay? It's pretty darn cool that it doubles as kind of a mouse and keyboard for you. Now, let's say, for example, you wanted to actually check out a new game. So let's go to the store. And I don't know. Hey, guys, someone recommend a game. Right now, someone just recommend a game for me to search for on Steam. Let's see what people come up with. And I'll show you how it works live. Neo 3. Okay, so to bring up the text menu so you can actually search for a term, you press X. Okay, the text menu is open. Now you're going to use your thumbs and the touchpads to type. So N, and I'm going to go to that and I'm going to push it in. So there's N, then I, then O, then H. And then to lock in your selection, Enter is R2. There you go. So there's Neo 3 if we wanted to check it out. Now, to get this menu the hell out of here, you just press B. And the menu's gone. So X to open your text menu, B to close your text menu. That's how you type with the Steam controller. Okay? And there you are. So if I wanted to play Neo 3, I would go right here. I would click on it. It would say, oh, are you old enough? Well, I was born in 1962. So yes, I'm old enough. And here's Neo 3. Of course, it's going to play the trailer. And all the suckers who played the game earlier in the year and said that it was a great game. All those suckers. And here it is. I'm actually surprised. This game came out in what, February? It's May and it's still full price. Anyway, so there you go. That's how you move around the menus. And that's how you use Steam Controller to navigate Steam. It's that simple. It's pretty nice. I like the touchpads. And admittedly, I was a little skeptical. I didn't know if I was going to like them or not. I do like them. I mean, quite frankly. All right, see what happened there? I was trying to go up and it kept going down, up, down, up. So there is a little bit of flakiness with going up and down with the touchpads, where sometimes it'll get, see, I was pressing up and it went down. Sometimes I did it again. I just pressed up and it went down. It's doing it again. So it can get confused and get confused of what direction you're actually trying to move. And it does happen, okay? And I'm curious, will that happen in a game? Like, for example, tonight I'm going to play Mouse PI for Hire. If I'm trying to move around, is it going to get confused and have me walk forward instead of back? If so, that's not good. So I'll be able to give you more of a testing of in-game performance when we do that tonight and we actually play the game, okay? I'm also going to try later this week. I'm also going to try later this week to use both the touchpads, the thumbsticks, and the D-pad when I play Retro Street Fighter, and I'm going to let you know how that feels. Because that could be interesting. Like, you're playing Street Fighter, you want to do a motion, but the pad vibrates when you touch it. Is that distracting? I'll let you know. I'm going to give it a shot. Okay? So there you go. So what's funny about it is, when I set this up yesterday, it said, oh, use big picture mode to use it. Why? Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to use big picture mode? You don't have to. You literally don't have to use big picture mode. It works fine on your PC without it. I wouldn't want to use big picture mode because big picture mode limits what you can do. And, it's like big screen for a TV. I'm on a monitor. I don't want to use big picture mode. You see? So that's it. Now, let's say I want to go back to my browser, right? I want to go back to YouTube. So you just go over here to your browser and you click. You're back in your browser. And this is where I would actually be by default. I would be set up over here somewhere for my show. And scroll to the top. Now, admittedly, I like using the touchpads, but some people might just find the thumbsticks better. Like, oh, it's doing it again. It's stuck and wouldn't go up there for a minute. See that? How sometimes it can get stuck? Because I'm just trying to go from down to up, and it does get stuck sometimes. Yesterday, I was playing Directive 8020, and I could use either the thumbstick to aim the camera and walk around, or I could actually use the touchpad. They both worked fine. I want to make this abundantly clear. They both worked fine. But it did feel weird using the touchpad. And when I was explaining that to the audience, someone brought up a good point. They said, Phil, a lot of people already use touchpad controls to play games on their phones. Like, this is a common thing. People who play these games, Wuthering Waves or whatever the hell it is, all these games where it's like, you need to look a direction and control your character, they're already doing that. So, a lot of people are already used to having trackpad-style controls for modern games. I'm not yet. Maybe it's something that I would need to get adapted to or adjusted to, okay? Now, one other thing that I want to try, I don't know if this is going to work. I want to see, can we actually play a game here on the Xbox app using the Steam controller? So we're about to do a live test. I'm just going to pick any old game over here, okay, that we've been playing from Game Pass. And I want to see... Here's my play history, right? It still works. Like, I'm still using the touchpad because, it's PC. It's allowing me to navigate. So, it's showing you how you played via PC or Xbox Cloud Gaming. So, I'm curious. I don't know. Let's boot up Hollow Knight, right? Let's boot up Hollow Knight and let's see what happens. Will the game actually work properly with the Steam controller? Let's find out right now. The cursor moves around using the right touchpad and the right thumbstick. So, left thumbstick works. Okay, touchpad up and down doesn't do anything here. Start game. Obviously, we'll go to my game save here. Okay, so here we are. Let's try everything. All right. Thumbstick works. Oh, the buttons don't work. If you press X, it opens the keyboard. A does nothing. Y does nothing. Okay. Triggers do nothing. So the thumbsticks work, and that's it. The trackpads actually do nothing. Could we program the controller to actually work? Like, let's say we go to controller. Ha ha ha! No active controller. What does native controller input mean? Okay. So, we just enabled alternate inputs in the game. Will that let it work? Let's find out. It'd be nice if it would stop running and syncing. For some reason, the cloud apparently is slow today. Look at that. Hey, Xbox. Hey, remember when Xbox wanted to do everything through the cloud? Okay. It says it's synced. Can you stop running the game so I can reboot it? Is it even really running, or is it full of... Oh, it just relaunched itself, even though I didn't tell it to. Okay. It's interesting. All right, let's see what happens. We did tell it to enable other alternate inputs, right? Okay. Nope. So I can still move. I can talk to the guy. But all I can do is walk. None of my buttons seem to work. So it actually doesn't work with Game Pass games. Now, some people are saying, try using big picture mode. Okay. Let's quit out of the game. Okay. So to use big picture mode, you press this button. That brings you to Steam. I believe they said if you hold it. Okay. All I did was I pressed the Steam button, then I held the Steam button, and it opened big picture mode. Okay, so here we are. This is big picture mode, which is great. But how do I play a Game Pass game through big picture mode exactly? Jaden says, it works if you add the title EXE to the Steam library, open in big picture mode, and assign community-made controller bindings with highest likes. Huh? What? So, basically, no, you can't play Game Pass games with this without messing with them. Meaning maybe there already are tweaks that people have found, ways that you can work around this. But out of the box, initial test, no, you can't get those games to work with this guy. It only works with Steam, right? But it does navigate around your PC nicely, which I like. I like that. Being able to navigate around the PC without the use of a mouse and keyboard. I do like that. But does it just play those games easily without some kind of, modding or messing around, right? Broden says, yes, there is an ability to have any installed game on your PC launch through Steam. So there you go. You got to do a workaround. I'm not going to do that today. Maybe we will eventually, but there you have it. You can't just do it, initially without messing around. You have to find a workaround to get that to work. Okay. Now, by the way, how the hell do I get out of big picture mode? Actually, this is not good. So, guess what? These don't even work in big picture mode. Look, the trackpads don't do anything. Oh, wait, this is bizarre. You can't use your thumb to move around. You have to click it like a button. What the heck? You have to click it like a button. That is so weird. And this one doesn't work at all. This you have to click like a button. Yeah, this is odd. I don't like that. I would much rather just use regular Steam. So how do I get out of here? How do I quit power? Exit big picture mode. Yeah. Okay, good. Because it's much, I'll be honest, it's much easier to just navigate around. What the hell? Did you see me try to boot Hollow Knight? Honestly, I don't think this is a problem with the Steam controller. I think this is a problem with Game Pass. It booted the game again. I didn't tell it to. Quit. Stop booting Hollow Knight. Here, is there a way? Here's what I'll do. I'll go down here. I'll right-click, and I'll say close window. So now it closed the Xbox app, so hopefully it'll stop trying to open Hollow Knight. Jeez. Okay. So, I much rather would like to just go to my regular Steam library and boot games from here. It would be nice if I could add Game Pass games to the Steam library, but my question is, if you're not booting it through Game Pass, how do you have access to it? The whole point of having a game through Game Pass is you boot it through the Xbox app. So that is a pretty big shortcoming. Unless they find an actual way to natively get those games to work with this, it's Steam only. You know, it's PC, Steam, but not Xbox. So there you go. All right, so there you go. That's my initial kind of walkthrough and impressions of the Steam controller. Do I like it? I do. I think it feels pretty good in the hands. I find it easy to use. I like the features so far. Okay, I do think that it, long term, this thing might be a pretty darn good controller, but I want to mess with it more before I give you my full opinions. I want to play Mouse PI for Hire tonight. I want to play some Street Fighter with it on Friday. And once I finally have a chance to test it with different genres of games, then I'll give you my full opinion. Right now, it would be such an early opinion of it, you know what I'm saying, that I don't think it would be fair. Draven just did a $2 super chat. Says, how bad is the skin irritation from the controller? Do you mean, does the controller's plastic irritate your skin? It didn't irritate mine. If anything, my thumbs feel a little weird from the vibration of the touchpads. It really does. Like, this feeling of moving the touchpad and getting this, like, it's like a massage on your thumb. It's weird. I think it takes some getting used to. And I'm sure you could probably disable it. If you really are bothered by it, you could probably disable that, like, micro vibration. But it's not bad or anything. It's just, it takes adjusting to get used to, right? Thank you, Draven, for the super chat. Okay. So I do want to say thank you to Suku, who did 50 kicks. Thank you for that, Suku. And Princess Luna did a $5 super chat earlier before we started testing the Steam controller and said, it's hard to believe that you're that person in the documentary because today you're so different. I know. Again, when I started, I was a very different person. When I was in my 20s, I had a completely different mindset about life. A lot of things that were very different. And to be honest, it's just kind of like, decades of improvement. Things feel better to me. You know what I mean? They just do. Things is just so much, my life is so much better. So I'm just not that kind of angry person that I used to be anymore. I'm a very different guy. Okay. I've received a $2 tip. Someone says, did you hear about a game called Her Trees, a Puzzle House? It could be a cool, short game for you. I have not. I'll be honest with you. We are not in any position to start looking at new games yet. That'll be next week. Okay? So we're about to finish Mouse PI for Hire, okay? And after that's done, my rotation of games will only be Saros, Directive 8020, and Pokemon. So next week, we will look for a new game. We'll probably do a night, I think it's Sunday night, we're going to do a Steam stream where we're going to jump into Steam. We're going to look at my wish list and look at games, and that would be a time to suggest a game and to look at games together and likely try some games. Now, next Tuesday, we've also got a very unique thing. Forza Horizon 6 is coming out. Or is it 7? Whatever the new Forza Horizon is, I don't even remember. I think it's 7, right? And so I'm going to try that with my wheel, okay, my actual Logitech wheel and pedals. We're going to test it, and we're going to see how it plays. I'm excited for that. To see how, if it's going to be something fun to play with that. Is it better to play with controller? I don't know. I've only ever played a real driving game like that with controller before. So that'll be an interesting experiment to try that game next week with that peripheral and see how that works in the schedule and everything. I don't know if people will want that long term or just messing around a little bit. I'm not sure. So we'll see. If it works out and people like it, we'll keep playing it. And if not, we might be looking for another game because there are new games coming out, but they're more near the end of the month. So we may have some opportunity to try new games on Steam and do things for a week or two before the end of the month hits. So we'll see what happens next week. Draven says he's excited for the next quartering stream because it's getting good. Well, the next one's the finale. The next one gets to the modern stuff that's been happening the last 6 to 8 months, which, again, I've only been casually aware of. Being told that, now the Kino Casino is heavily involved with him and all that. So I'm sure we're going to get to that stuff in the documentary and get up to the current stuff. So, yeah, and then it's just, we talk about what we want to do moving forward. Because this is the other topic to talk about is the reacting stuff. So just so you guys know, 3 streams of reacting to the quartering so far, the quartering documentary, I should say, by June the King, and they've all done well. They've all had pretty good attendance, pretty good engagement, and pretty good support. Like, no complaints. I'm pleased with how they've gone. And so, I'm excited to finish it up tomorrow night. Now, after that, I don't know what we want to do. Do we want to give reacting a rest for a while and just do gaming for a bit and then maybe look for another opportunity to jump back into it? Or is there other stuff that you guys would be interested to see me react to? Like, one thing that over the years people have asked me to do is react to the original June the King documentary about LTG. Because originally, if you remember years ago, I wanted to react to a documentary about LTG. And I talked to LTG in a DM. And I said, is there anything out there that you feel is representative that I could cover that would actually give your history? And he said,
no.
He said that everything out there was false, and he would prefer if I didn't react to anything. So I didn't. But that was many years ago, and things have changed since then. And, that is one that people bring up from time to time, is that why don't you just react to that? Because that was the one that he freaked out about, that it was on the internet, and he attacked June the King and stuff like that. So it's a possibility, but to be honest with you, the way I see it, I don't want to be doing this content all the time. I want to do it as something special to break up my normal content so it feels different and special. I think this particular one that we've been doing actually has worked well because of the timeliness of it, and it broke up my gameplay. It didn't really hinder any playthroughs or anything that I was doing right now, so it was the right time for it. So maybe we wait and we do some more stuff in the future. Maybe we don't, but what do you got? I mean, I'll leave it to you guys, all right? I will. I'll leave it to you guys to determine. We're doing the one tomorrow night to finish up, and then after that, we'll talk about it and we'll go from there. The thing is, I don't want to be doing it all the time. I used to do a react show once a week. It worked for about 6 months, and then it started to die out. And I kept doing it for 2 years, and it didn't work. People didn't like it, and it was a very slow. Same people who wanted to submit clips. So it was the same kind of show every week, and people got bored with it. So I'd much rather do things people want. So we will talk about that after we finish this current project and go from there. Okay. All right, so we have now covered many, many, many topics. And what I would like to do is open up the stream to interactive, chat. So please tag me in either chat, and let's see what you guys want to talk about. Notably, Siri just asked me I just bought Hell Is Us. It's discounted on Steam. Why'd you never play it after the demo? Because the demo didn't impress me. Just the demo, having played it for like 2 hours, the game got incredibly boring, repetitive, samey. I mean, again, it felt like it wanted to combine the difficulty factor of, say, Dark Souls or a FromSoft game with a few gameplay elements that were a little different. But that's pretty bad that within the 2 hours of the demo, I was already kind of bored, and so was the audience. People just didn't like it. They were like, this is repetitive. Like, you're right. So I never got the game. And to be honest, I don't think I missed out on anything because no one has really talked about the game. I mean, it's been out since, what, September? No one really talks about Hell Is Us. They act like it never existed. Thank you, Looter Shooter. Says, I love your setup and your tunes. Keep it up. Thank you. I appreciate that. Dark Lady Goss says, can we see your shirt? Which one? The shirt here with the pineapples and the blooms, or the undershirt, which is basically just says like Black Mountain Outfitters. It's a bear. It's a green bear. Ladies and gentlemen, I've just received, are you ready for this? I've just received a $200 tip. I'm not kidding. $200 tip. I want to play an animation, but I have to find it. Here it is. Ready? And this person says, more React streams. So apparently we have one big fan of my React streams here on stream today. There you go. An anonymous $200 tip. Thank you. My response to that is simple. I'm not opposed to doing more reacting. I just want it to be what people will be there for. I knew with the quartering stuff, it was timely. It made sense. I think what we'll probably do is we'll cool down from reacting for a bit, and we'll bring it back for variety when things are slowing down. Like I knew around this time when I knew this documentary was going to come out. I knew people were interested in my opinions on everything going on, and I had a feeling that it would work. It has. All 3 streams have done well. Okay? Not overwhelmingly well. It's not like people are coming out in massive droves. I'm not getting giant spikes of attendance and support, but it's in line with what I like to do with my content. I'm like, okay, then that's good then, right? So I think, like I said, what we'll do, let's finish this quartering react tomorrow night, all right? And then after that, we'll try to figure out what's next, but I don't think we have to rush to do it either, but we should find the right time to bring it in, maybe when things are getting a little slower. To be honest, I would like to do some more gaming now. Like, I want to get back and check out some more indie games on Steam and your suggestions and things like that. And then maybe get back to the reacting, when we have opportunity, probably in June. Because taking a look at the games lineup, okay, for the next few weeks to month, we take a look at June. Well, let's look at May, June, okay? So, Forza Horizon 6 is next Tuesday, okay? We're going to do that. We're going to try it at least. There is Bubsy 4D on May 22nd. I don't know if we're going to do that or not. If we do it, it may be like let's just test it for a stream and see if you guys like it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't know. 007 First Light, May 27th. Absolutely, I'm going to check that out. It looks good. It looks very refreshing and interesting. And also, Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight on May 29th. That game looks really good. Like, I know it's a Lego game. It's going to have comedy and stuff. But it looks like it's literally the successor to the Batman Arkham series. As crazy as that sounds, it might be a really good game. So I want to play that one. Seventh Guest Remake is June 4th. I want to try it out and see if it works. If it doesn't work, it's fine, but I want to give it a go because that's like an old school throwback game from back in the day. And then after that, we really don't have anything until the end of June. So June could be a month where we can do a lot of fan request games, things off of Steam. Maybe we could do some retro stuff that people have wanted, and we could probably maybe do another React event. But the question is, what would it be? And that's what we figure out. We talk about it. We figure it out. It could be the LTG documentary. It could be something different. Okay? I don't know. So there you go. All right. Thanks, Soul Made Gone, for some kicks over on Kick. I appreciate that. Okay. And by the way, we do need to go through the game release schedule. Man, we still haven't. You realize that, right? I've been saying for a month we're going to go through it. We still didn't get to it. Maybe that should be like Friday's podcast, is we go through the game release schedule to populate it so we have an idea of what's going on in regards to gaming, because there may be a lot of stuff coming out. I'm just not aware because I haven't updated the schedule in so long, you know? Okay. All right, what else do you guys want to talk about? Satan, how are you this afternoon? Good to see you. What's for dinner? So we're doing something unique today. Since we went to Costco a few weeks ago, we restocked the house with a lot of healthier foods. So at Costco, they have these chicken. They're not really tenders. They're like chicken chunks, okay? And they're not breaded or anything, but they are pre-roasted and they're seasoned like rotisserie chicken. So we use these for various different things. We put them in pasta dishes and other things. What we want to do today, we just want to try to have like healthy chicken sandwiches. So we're going to have some of those. We're going to warm them up and put them on like, bread with lettuce and tomato, maybe some avocado and maybe some kind of a sauce, and just have a couple sandwiches of the healthy chicken and see if it's any good. We had it in other things and we liked it. So it stands to reason they would make good sandwiches too. And then we have a side of rice to have with it as well. So that's what we're going to try to do for dinner today. A little something different, but we think it's going to work out. It's frozen. Oh my God. Someone just said weeks old chicken. It's frozen. How much is my light bill? You mean my electricity bill? It's not that bad. I will say this. Growing up, I always heard every adult complain about the cost of electricity, the cost of fuel and water and stuff. I'll be honest, my utility bill ain't that bad. It never really has been. Maybe it's just that, I make a good living, but it's just not a big concern for me. My utilities are never really like even having the air conditioner on and stuff, it's never really that much. Probably the most expensive months of the year for me are dead of summer. If I need to have all 3 air conditioners on almost all day for like 2-3 weeks straight in the dead of summer, that will be one time of the year that my electricity will spike. Vice versa, if we happen to have really cold weather and the heat has to be blasting nonstop for like 2-3 weeks, then it will spike. But that almost never happens because I live in a place that has a moderate climate. So yeah, I'll use the air conditioner, but I don't need it all the time. Yeah, we'll use the heat, but it's not blasting nonstop. So because of that, it's less. It's not as expensive. No, I pay for water and sewer. I have one bill just for electricity and gas, because I have gas to heat the house and electricity for everything else. And then I have the other bill, which is water and sewer. Scotty Doo, you literally just missed a huge segment where we tested the Steam controller. I navigated all through Windows, through Steam. We even tried to play a game on Game Pass with it. So rewind the podcast. You'll see everything that you want. It's a big segment, like 40 plus minutes of coverage on the Steam controller. You just missed it, too, because we just finished like 5 minutes ago. What do you mean? How much for the Metal Gear Rising collector's item? This? What do you mean? How much did I pay for it? Oh, I don't remember. That came with the collector's edition of the game, 2012. I have no recollection what the game cost. You'd have to go check my unboxing. I'm sure I did a release day unboxing on it back in the day. And if you find that video, I'd probably tell you the cost of it. Did I know the Steam controller makes a Wilhelm scream when you drop it? I've heard it. I've heard that this is the case. Like if I take this controller and I just lifted it up like this, and I dropped it, if it falls about 2 to 3 feet, it makes a Wilhelm scream, supposedly. But I don't want to drop it anywhere and damage it. Like, maybe I would do it on my bed in the bedroom, but I'm not going to do it here. So I'm not going to test that. What if I hold it and do it? Nope. Nope. I guess it has to fall a certain level for a certain distance, but I don't want to damage the controller. So. Oh, wait, it's off. Hold on. Okay, now it's on. Ready? Nope. It must after detect like a certain velocity and a certain distance. It doesn't do it. Come on, do it, you stupid controller. It doesn't do it like that. I guess you legit have to drop it. Okay. Oh, it needs to be in big picture mode? Okay, hold on. Crap, now I clicked on a video I didn't want to click on. Close that. All right, hold on. Okay, now it's in big picture mode. Okay, it's in big picture mode now. Yep, okay. Nope, nothing. Nothing. Maybe it detects that you're holding it. Because didn't they say that it actually has grip detection too? So maybe you legit have to just release it from a height and drop it, and then it knows. But I'm not going to do that here. I don't have anything on the floor. I have carpet, but I don't want to break, hit the floor and damage. So, yeah. So, it has to make impact? Oh, my God. All right, hold on. Nope. Didn't do it there either. And I did it. I actually slapped it against my hand, and it still didn't do it. So, exactly. I don't want to destroy the controller. That'd be pretty bad, considering you can't get another one. Okay, let's get out of big picture mode. I hate big picture mode. Much prefer to just use the real Steam. Okay. All right. Oh, let's get music again. Got a few more minutes to chill. What do you guys want to talk about? When is the LTG React? I don't know. We're not doing it now. Like I said, we got to finish the quartering tomorrow night. And then after that, we'll play it by ear. Next week, I would like to focus on games after having a whole week of Reacts. I would like to focus on games tomorrow night. We could do it like a once a month deal, dependent on scheduling. We could maybe try to do one once a month. Charlie TV with a $20 super chat says, "Smash the controller," laughing out loud. I mean, I could, but then I wouldn't have a Steam controller. Like, I really don't care if I were to smash it. I don't give a shit. It's not a big deal. I have other controllers, but it would be pretty dumb to have bought it so that I can test it and review it for you guys and, and use it and then just smash it for no reason. Although people have done that. Like, remember when people used to wait outside, like, when they were releasing a new iPhone or a new console, and they would get it and they would just smash it on the sidewalk outside the store? Like, and people would look at them like, Are you retarded or something? Like, why did you do that? Like, there's no point to doing that. And you're like, oh, I'm making a video. Oh, I'm going viral. Do I use Davidoff Cool Water? And where do I buy the cologne? Yes, I have Cool Water. I wear it. And I got it off Amazon. The Blimp, how you doing? He says, I'm looking forward to Dusk Bloods. Outside of that, any plans for another FromSoft title this year? We talked about this, that we could possibly go back and replay Dark Souls 2 with mods, but I don't really know how to do it. And the reason I say that is when we tried to do mods previously, remember we tried to do mods on Dark Souls 1, and that had difficulties. We tried to do mods on GTA 4, and that had a ton of difficulties. So I don't know if I would be able to get Dark Souls 2 to work with mods, I would replay Dark Souls 2, no problem. If you guys just wanted me to replay Dark Souls 2, but the mods are not a guaranteed thing. The mods might not work, or they might be too difficult to set up and too much of a hassle. You do have to understand that I'm not a techie guy who's going to sit here and mess with it for hours to tweak it and get it working. That's just not me. Where do I get my Hawaiian shirts? Well, they're not really Hawaiian shirts. I'd argue they are short sleeve button tropical shirts or, you know, kind of like summer shirts. I get them at various places. I've gotten them at more discounted stores like Marshall's, where you go in there and you can get clothes that are put on discount because they didn't sell at the full price department store or whatever. So had that. I've had some of these I buy at like the real full price store like Kohl's or places like that. I've gone to department stores and bought them as well. So I get them at various different places. This particular one, I think I bought full price at a department store. I think this is Izod. No, this might be Eddie Bauer. No, this could be Izod. It's either Izod or Eddie Bauer. It's one of those two. Play Demon Souls. I should play Demon Souls again, and I should actually dupe this time. Just to piss people off. Do I thrift at all? Not really. I'm well aware of thrift stores. I pretty much have never really stepped foot into one. I'm aware of their presence, but I never really gone in one. The closest I would say, there's a place near me, it's called Plato's Closet. That place is considered a thrift store, but it's like a step up, meaning people will bring in clothes to trade in, and it's usually stuff that's brand new or like new, that's almost never been used. And then they basically clean up the clothes to make sure they're not dirty or damaged, and then they resell them. And I have bought some clothes from Plato's Closet over the years, but it's not a regular thing that I do. Most of the clothes that I buy are completely new condition. You know, thrift or thrifting or thrift stores isn't considered like a negative association at all, but grift is. And the words being so close to each other, in my mind, I always have like a negative association with the word, even though it's not. Like, there's nothing wrong with thrifting. For those who don't know, a thrift store basically is a store that takes in belongings from other people who just want to sell them, and then they clean them up and then resell them. Right? So you could have used toys, used clothes, used housewares. I've seen, appliances in there. All kinds of stuff go to a thrift store and to be resold. And sometimes you could have antiques and things or, heirlooms that people no longer need and they sell, and then someone else can end up having them and bringing them into their homes, which is cool that they're not just lost to time. But I don't know why thrift and grift sound so similar. Why'd they make those two words so similar? The grift store. Have I ever been into a bar fight? Oh, at least 3 times a week. I go to the local bar. I don't even drink at the bar. What I do, I walk in and I just see someone who's just like minding their own business, and I point and I go, "You," and I just clock them straight in the face, and then they big scuffle, and I get thrown out again. At least 3 times a week. That's right, that emo. You. Cold cock, complete sucker punch. Boom. It's the best way to do it. Amazing. Have I ever been in a bar? Yes, I've been into many bars. Yes. All right, admittedly, that's funny. Okay? That's pretty funny. This guy just said, listen to this. He said, Phil goes into a biker bar completely naked. Then he demands clothing and bikes from a biker. That's right. Correct. That sounds familiar somehow. Zorinder did a $5 super chat and says a $200 tip for reacting content. You basically say, no, I won't do it, but you want support and encourage people to support what they like. What are you talking about? When did I say I won't do it? When did that happen? I literally said, okay, let's finish the current React project we're doing Thursday. Let's talk about what the next one could be, and let's figure out when to do it. What I said was I don't want to do it immediately because then that's too much of the same. You understand that things are special because you don't do them all the time the same way, right? If we do a React every once in a while and we plan it out together, we collectively agree on what it'll be, and we build it up and we hype it up, it'll work. If we're just doing them willy-nilly, just for the sake of doing them, they're not going to work. I know, because I did that. I had a React show that I started, what was it, 2023? Yeah, it was 2023, correct? Yes. And we did it weekly, every Sunday. It was my daytime show on Sunday. And it was fun because people would nominate clips and things, and I was exposed to a whole bunch of content on the internet that I'd never seen before. I would argue the first 6 months of the show was really well done. It was interesting. It was people showing up and supporting, and basically what it was, if you became a member of the channel, you could then suggest things, and if you did a bigger contribution, you were guaranteed to get it reacted to on the show. So people would pay to see me react to the specific things, and it worked. And then essentially after that, maybe 6 months, a lot of people said, all right, we've seen the things we wanted to see him react to. Now it's not special anymore. And so they didn't continue to become members. They didn't continue to support. And then the same people every week would suggest videos, and the videos ended up being very samey. Whether it was a video about Singapore, or a video about this particular YouTuber, or this kind of skit that we'd seen a million times. So the show got played out and boring. And that's the problem. If you do something too often, it becomes boring. It's even happened with gameplay, right? Take a look at Minecraft. First, it starts off fresh. After you do it for 2 months, boring, right? Take a look at what happened with RimWorld. For 2-3 months, very fresh and interesting. After a while, all right, this run has gone on so long, it's boring now. We want to hit the reset button and see you do something different. Did that for a few weeks and like, all right, let's give it a break. But we're going to go back to it and it'll probably feel fresh again. See? As they say, variety is the spice of life, okay? And even though there's someone who just gave a $200 tip, which I'm very appreciative for, really I am, thank you so much for that, I think they understand that it makes more sense to plan it out and do it right than to say, oh, let's just keep rush willy-nilly into another React that no one's asking for, and then my attendance is low, the engagement is low, the support is low, and everyone says, why are you wasting your time? Okay? So we'll work on it. We will. Like I said, let's go ahead and let's finish up tomorrow night with the quartering React, and then we'll figure out what the next one is. It's probably the smart way to do it. Why don't I host an online Street Fighter tournament with other streamers I've had interactions with and stream it at some point? Who would it be? Who would I involve in that? I don't really stream with anyone who plays Street Fighter. And the people that do are like old school people from back in the day who I wouldn't want to play in my tournament. There's no point, right? Let me see you did a $2 super chat. $200 isn't enough for me to want me to do it sooner. You have to understand something. I just don't understand this mentality of some people, right? Okay, you ready for this? You ready? I don't stream solely for money. I'm making content for an audience to watch the content, enjoy the content, and then reciprocate by supporting the content. This isn't just for me. Do you understand that? I think a lot of people don't understand that. So they're, oh, I don't understand. You've received money, so why aren't you doing the thing? Because I'm not streaming for one person. This is not, oh, someone bought a stream. This is, we talk about content, we agree to what it'll be, then I do the content, people enjoy it, and then they reciprocate with support, right? It's not, oh, someone bought the content. I did used to do that. It was called the private reacts that I used to do. For $50, someone could buy a 30-minute private react video. I used to do it. You want to know why I stopped doing it? Because it didn't make sense. My time was more valuable to be on stream making content for public consumption than for just making private curated videos. It didn't make, the payoff wasn't good enough, quite frankly. If I could stream for a public audience and entertain them, And I can have a body of work that people can watch over time. And it can earn me views and attention and engagement and support. I can get ad revenue, but I can also get active stream contributions, but I can also earn via other methods. That's more valuable than say, oh, I made a private video for someone that they watched once and paid for. Okay? I'm streaming for the public. So even though, yes, someone just decided and said, hey, I'll give $200 to Phil. Hopefully this encourages him to react again. Thank you for that. I am going to react again. Totally, I will. We'll do another one. But we're not going to do it immediately. I don't even know what I want to do. I don't want to jump the gun and say, let's just rush into this project, and then we do it, and everyone's like, well, no one cares about this. Why'd you do this? Why are you wasting your time? Wank It For You, what a name, did a $2 super chat says, basically you want support, but not really $200. Huh? How about this? I'll worry about the support of my streams, and you could do your thing with your life, and you can mind your own business, because it's obvious you don't know what you're talking about, but thanks for $2. Cool. Okay. All right, last couple of minutes here of the stream, or I should say of the podcast. What would you guys like to talk about for the final topics? Because we're going down to the nitty-gritty here. Okay? The last chance to talk before we take a break, and then I jump into Pokemon for the day. Why don't I use number and keywords in the description? It would help push you into the algorithm. No, it wouldn't. All that is gone now. Are you aware of that? Basically, the algorithm only pulls from your title now. Remember when they used to have tags? They still do. They don't do anything. YouTube basically stopped using tags, keywords, and shit like that a long time ago. All they do is they look at your title. Okay? So right now, if someone were to search on YouTube, they would see the title of this stream, Level 1 Podcast, and then Pokemon Fire Red, and they would use that to find it. Now, particularly, we just did the whole Steam controller testing and all of that, right? So later today, when I upload the podcast as an on-demand video, I'm going to title it, the Level 1 Podcast, Steam controller, testing in Windows, Steam, Game Pass, and more. Like, I'll probably test it like that, or name it like that. And that's what will hit the algorithm, and that's what people will search and find for. You don't need keywords or tags anymore. YouTube basically did away with those ages ago. At one point, they were incredibly useful and important. They're not anymore. Like, at all. I'm not even kidding. It doesn't, it has no effect on it. You could tag it up as much as you want. It won't help it in the algorithm. They basically turned off that feature like years ago. And it was hilarious because when they did, they didn't tell anyone. So everyone continued to try to use tags and everything. And then they found out it didn't matter. As long as you titled your video appropriately, you were good. Okay. Are we getting Mewtwo today? Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what's coming up in the post-game of Pokemon. I've never played it before. Like I said, this is my first time playing Fire Red, so I don't know. Am I going to play Pokemon Champions again? I'm not opposed to it. It seemed interesting. I actually liked the one stream I played, but I'm not going to play more than one Pokemon game at a time. So maybe when we finish with Fire Red, whenever that may be, maybe then we jump into Champions for a bit and see if it works as a series of streams or not. It's like I said, I think the best time to play Champions will be when it actually goes cross-platform, because right now it's only on Switch and Switch 2, but it can be played as a mobile game soon. I think they were saying July they're going to port it to mobile devices, so people will be playing on here against people over on the Switch too. Probably the player base will explode at that point. So maybe that's a good time to play it. I've never seen Human Centipede. I don't care to. Sounds disgusting. Is it June? Someone just said June. Okay. Have I played other Pokemon games? There's actually a slide that I use to show what Pokemon games I've played. But I played Pokemon Blue, and then I never played Pokemon again. For the longest time. Let me see if I can actually find it. Really quick. What would that be in? That would be in here. In my program files. I have to go to the OBS slideshow to find it. Find it. Why is it not showing up? It must have been a different kind of... Here it is. Ready? So, after I played Pokemon Blue, I literally did not play another Pokemon game until 2014 when I played Omega Ruby on my 3DS XL. I had a capture device for it, and we played it here live together. Then I played Pokken Tournament on the Wii U. Then I played Pokemon Moon, also on the 3DS XL. And then the next one I actually played a 3-year gap. We played Pokemon Sword on the Switch. Then New Pokemon Snap, also on the Switch. Pokemon Legends Arceus on the Switch. Pokemon Scarlet on the Switch. And then we recently just played Pokemon Legends ZA on the Switch too. And then we played its DLC when it came out. And now I'm playing Pokemon Fire Red. So that's the history of Pokemon. There you go. Cool. I know now there's a bunch of Pokemon games available to play. Like there's that Coliseum that we tried. We did play the Coliseum game. Or was it Stadium? We either played Coliseum or Stadium. That was on the app. The Nintendo Switch Online app or whatever it is. It has all the retro games. So we tried that. And there's other ones too to play. Right? Okay. All right, well, folks, I would like to say thank you guys so very much for a great show. That was a good one, right? We had a lot to talk about. And I absolutely appreciate everyone who chilled, hung out, supported. And I hope you enjoyed the Steam controller coverage so far. I'll be using Steam controller tonight for Mouse PI for Hire. I'll be using it on Friday for Friday Night Fights, Old School Street Fighter. And I'll be giving you my opinions during all of that to let you know how it controls. Okay, so more Steam controller testing this week. And likely, by the end of the week, I'll kind of do like a final thoughts on Steam controller for, playing it for a week. And I'll probably have a actual, video made by my editor of all the Steam controller coverage. Okay? That'd be a pretty good thing, I think, to say, hey, my experience with the Steam controller over a week could be a pretty good video. Fair enough? Okay, everyone, thank you for a great show. I really appreciate y'all hanging out and engaging and supporting, as always. The Level 1 podcast will return this Friday for a week-ending show to recap everything that went down, talk about hot topics and more. I hope to see you then. But in the meantime, I hope you'll stick around for fun gameplay, reacting, and more. I'll see you all Friday morning. Peace out.